Okay, I'm going to read this article from our new edition of Table Talk. Key questions about prayer. March 2nd and 3rd weekend devotional, A Strange Genealogy by Leonardo de Chirico. Okay. The four Gospels provide a harmonious yet nuanced picture of the Son of God entering the world in the person of Jesus Christ. John explains the fact that the eternal Logos became flesh, John 1:14, while Mark begins his account by presenting an already adult Jesus, Mark 1:1-6. Matthew and Luke are the main sources that help us to make sense of the early days of Jesus' life. As one might expect, Mary has a prominent role in their narratives. In Matthew, the narrative begins with the genealogy of Jesus. Chapter 1 establishes the Jewish identity of Jesus by showing the genealogy link between him and the story of the patriarch Abraham and King David. Jesus' life needs to be read in the context of the covenant promises given to the patriarchs and reiterated through their royal descendants. Jesus is the climax of the story. In him, these promises given to the patriarchs and to the kings are finally fulfilled and eventually delivered. What is striking in the genealogical list is the presence of some women who are a part of a transgenerational family of Jesus. They are all awkward women in their stories, are far from being socially irreproachable or religiously clean. Tamar had sexual intercourse with her father-in-law. Rahab was a prostitute. Ruth was a foreigner. Bathsheba was the woman whom David committed adultery before he had her husband Uriah killed. These women are all clearly unfit to carry on the line of the Messiah, yet they are all part of his history. These women are signposts of God's overwhelming grace, which overturns religious stigmas and heals broken lives. Mary is introduced as the next woman in this curious series of mothers in Matthew 1:20. Nothing is said about her background except that she is to become Joseph's wife. Joseph is in the forefront and Mary is introduced as being related to him. Up to this point, everything seems to be under control. However, they do not consummate their marriage until she had given birth to a son, which is Matthew 1:25. Thus, Jesus comes into the world in the midst of strange circumstances. In Matthew's account, Mary has no moral awkwardness in herself, nor does she have any moral deserving qualifications. She's simply there because of God's sovereign and gracious choice. Whatever her profile, she is put in a socially difficult condition, giving birth to a baby whose father is not her betrothed, and becomes an instrument of God's humanly unpredictable plan. God's grace overcomes neat life conditions and is at work in her through her son as it was in the women who preceded her. The focus is not Mary herself, but God in his apparently strange yet always perfect ways. This does not mean downplaying the role of Mary. It simply reflects the overall biblical balance in a rather modest presentation of the mother of Jesus. The center of Mary's remarkable story, no less than the center of history as a whole, is our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.